Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford at studio this afternoon, 1 o'clock, as we've hit the record button. Player interviews today, Kiffin yesterday. I guess Kiffin tomorrow again, right? Normal week?
That is correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct. Kiffin tomorrow, and then I think that's it.
All right, we'll discuss that and more today. We'll talk a little NFL. We'll talk a little college football, a little Ole Miss and Indiana, and more as the SEC Bowl week is upon us. A lot of SEC games starting. When's the first one this week?
Either tonight or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Oklahoma and Florida tomorrow.
Is that right? Is that early? I guess it's the 30th, but
pretty sure it's tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Mississippi State and Arkansas play on Thursday, and then
whatever.
A bunch play Friday, and then Ole Miss, Kentucky, and A&M play on Saturday.
Auburn, maybe. Is the Citrus Bowl on the second or the first?
Auburn plays Friday. Auburn plays Friday.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyway, that and more on the show. The show is brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Get your lunch specials for $5.69, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink. Stop in, apply, download the Speed Pass Plus app because you can use that right there at the pump. An efficient way to get back on the road with all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi because you earn points and you save money in the process. A great way to get some fuel and fuel up there with the Oxford Exxon. Again, competing from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food will be open this weekend. I don't know about New Year's Eve, what that deal is. I'll have to ask Hudson. I know they'll have to close at 11 because the virus will get you at 11:01.
State mandate, by the way.
I understand.
Not local.
Nope,
yeah,
not local.
I'm just pointing out.
Nope. It's all in the state. I just think it's funny that you can go at 10:58, but you can't go at 11:02, which cracks me up. Now, I realize why they do it. I get it. It still doesn't make it less funny to me. I can't help it. Rafters Music and Food be a great place to watch the bowl games. NBA's going on, NFL this weekend as well. Lots happening in the sports world. So you can watch it at Rafters. Enjoy their burgers, po' boys, shrimp, catfish, drink specials, and more. They're at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and in New Albany.
So, as you mentioned, Ole Miss and Indiana, Saturday, Ole Miss, Alabama tonight, SEC basketball getting underway, 8 o'clock Central Time for that one.
Yep.
So, Rebels get Hadim C back, but to what point? They're not going to play a lot, right?
He's not going to play a lot. I think he'll play some. He'll be able to play in short spurts because he's missed so much time. But look, he gives them.
Whose minutes does he eventually take when he's healthy?
Oh, I don't know. Robert Allen's maybe. I don't know. We'll see. They've got some depth, and you got to earn it. But he gives them
another dude.
Yeah, and Hadim's more than just a dude. So when he's out there, he's but now he can be pretty aggressive because
they're really good in the front court.
Well, they're a deep team.
Yeah.
Their question is, can they score? Their question is, can they make perimeter shots? Can they hit shots when you got to have a shot? Can somebody besides Devontae Shuler make shots? And can someone make shots on nights when Devontae doesn't make shots? Those are because the night that they lost, Devontae did not shoot particularly well.
He used 4 for 20 from the field that night.
Yeah, so on those nights, someone else has to step up and make buckets. And if they do that, they're an elite team, but that's a huge if.
We went over the wins and losses and whatnot. Does Bama have anybody significant back on their roster from last year? What's their roster look like?
That's a great question. I should have studied it a little. Petty's back.
He is, yeah, okay.
They got a deep. They're a really talented team. Oates is a really good recruiter.
They're supposed to be better than they're playing right now.
He's raised some eyebrows, and there are some rumors that they have some internal issues on that team as it pertains to him, and we'll see. Coleman is traditionally a very difficult place for Ole Miss to play. I can't imagine that it or any place is going to be intimidating this year. So it's about playing basketball now. The whole court thing, crowds aren't going to be a factor.
No, I have a hunch road teams are going to win at a little higher clip than we're accustomed to.
No, I think so.
Shooting sites are really the only difference in a home and away team at this point right now.
Sure. That's it. They've practiced in Coleman, and Ole Miss hasn't. about it. Otherwise, you line up and play.
Mark, reading from the live stream, you depressed today? What's going on? He says he hates everything. What's going on? What's going on with Art Briles?
Somehow with Art Briles, I don't know.
You got some cash? I'm reading from the stream.
Oh, I don't know.
Hanging out.
I've been. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mark's pointing out that Art Briles got a settlement when he left Baylor.
Oh, gotcha.
He's pointing out that Hugh Freeze did not.
That's fair.
It's one of the things that I always say when people go, how bad is it?
Sacrifice $16 million.
I always say, well, let's put it in these terms. He's represented by the best agent in amateur sports and maybe one of the best 2 or 3 agents in the world.
Sure.
He had a buyout, had Ole Miss fired him without cause, that would have given him around $17 million.
Correct. And he forfeited it.
And he walked with no dollars.
Yeah.
Again, his agent is Jimmy Sexton. And I know a lot of people are like, God, Jimmy Sexton, whatever. Look, if you Jimmy's objective is to represent his clients. I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
Jimmy looks out for his clients. Jimmy allowed Hugh Freeze to walk away with nothing.
Not even like, hey, about 50%, let's settle, let's all get some and walk.
No. Right. Like, this isn't like a potential.
It didn't have to be an all or nothing situation.
No, not even like a potential Tennessee deal where let's just say this NCAA thing percolates a little.
Yeah.
And Tennessee goes, well, we owe you, and I'm just making up numbers here. I don't know the exact numbers. We owe you 13. But now, if this thing goes further and we went with cause, we'd owe you nothing. So what about we give you 7.2? And
everybody goes, all right.
And we call it a day, and we all agree to hate each other for perpetuity.
Yeah, sure.
Fair enough. There was none of that.
Just zero.
Jimmy Sexton. To me, it tells me everything. If that doesn't send shivers down your spine as a AD potentially looking at hiring him.
I still think there's a lot of programs he could go to where a lot of that stuff doesn't come back up eventually, or at least the other stuff doesn't come back up.
Yeah, there are. None of them in the SEC.
You'd think that stuff comes physically out if he's at Tennessee.
Depending on how they recruit.
Yeah. It's a lot of just more of the same.
This has never been a kind, gentle league.
No. Not the benevolent.
No. I mean, there's not a lot of kumbaya.
I guess my point, though, is we know the subject matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes the quantity at that point that really is the only thing we're talking about. It
becomes the details.
Yeah, no.
And then you got to go recruit after those details are out in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Against the best. I mean, again, when a kid's down to, let's just take 5 schools. When a kid's down to Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, and LSU, there's no negatives anywhere. A kid from make up a town. Let him be from Ruston.
Sure.
I'll make fun of my town. So he played at Ruston Stadium in front of, at most, 4,000 people. He worked out in a nice high school facility, but it's a high school facility.
Sure.
All of a sudden, he's walking into these big training facilities with academic centers, and hell yeah, he's wowed at all 5 places. He's meeting, in this scenario, Nick Saban, like, whoa. Kirby Smart, he's whoa. Here's Lane Kiffin, who he follows on Twitter. And he's got Ed Orgeron. Yeah. LSU's got all the trophies sitting there. And where else did he have him going? Georgia, I think. Oh, Auburn. Had him going to Auburn. He goes into Auburn, and they got a great facility. And he goes and looks at Bo Jackson's Heisman and Pat Sullivan's Heisman. I mean, there's a lot of whoa, right?
Sure.
They're all professional salespeople. They all show him, here's our Nike stuff, and look at this, our Under Armour stuff. Look at this, and I mean. And mom's asking questions about academics, and they're giving, we got the center for whatever, and look at this, and I want to play in the NFL. Well, we all look at these NFL people. Look at here, DK Metcalf just happened to walk in. Hey, DK, what's up? And when he goes to LSU, it's like, oh, there's Joe Burrow. Joe, you just drop by? I mean, so the kids, wow. There are no negatives. And then here's this negative. Who loses?
Here's your hot take. The way he presents himself and his mode for recruiting in the Christian angle is an easier recovery than not having that. I get it's a negative early, but it does allow you to do the, hey, I screwed up. I'm this dude.
I know.
We all repent and release or whatever. It gives you more of a chance than – because here's the truth. Like, for reality, whatever, I don't care. Perception, if you don't have that angle and you do it, you're just a scumbag. Now you're the repentant guy. Potentially. Yeah. It's a hot take, but you know what I mean.
It's a hot take.
But you have a chance with the religious mother or the whatever you do. You have more of a chance than simply, oh yeah, I don't know, I just kind of did that stuff and whatever. It's an angle, but I'm telling you, it's easier.
It's easier.
And I'm not even really promoting Hugh. I'm just saying.
No, it's easier. But then if let's say it comes down to wherever school the kid's looking at that Hugh's at in Georgia.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Kirby just goes, yeah, we'll put guys in the league. Our guys graduate. Look at what we do. You're not having to have that conversation.
No.
Nick Saban doesn't have to have that conversation. Lane Kiffin can say, Ed Orgeron can say, yeah, we don't really promote I never really promoted myself as this holier than thou guy, so.
Yeah.
I just think it's hard.
Oh, it's hard. There's no doubt about that.
And let me make this clear. Auburn did not even kick the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tennessee will. Maybe Tennessee will go down that path.
I do think they're the one team that kicks the tires in the league. Not saying they're hiring Hugh Freeze. I think they kick the tires. Legitimately.
They might. They might.
Now, they might get to a roadblock and go, we just can't do this, and they back off. Sure. I don't know.
South Carolina kicked them and went, no thanks.
Yeah. I think his next gig's in the ACC.
If I were advising him, I would tell him I'd go someplace else before I went to the SEC. Right now. It's fresh. I mean, Dan Mullen's at Florida. You go to Tennessee, you're recruiting against Florida. You don't think it's going to come up? You go to Tennessee and you recruit in Memphis?
Yeah, but Maurice will handle that. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
It's coming up. You go to Tennessee and you recruit in Houston? Dallas? There are people at Texas A&M that know the details.
Couple.
Tough deal. It's a risk. He's a good coach. Look, he just went 10-1 at Liberty.
Good coach.
He's a really good coach. But you've got to assemble.
Great program builder. We haven't proven he's a sustainer.
Not at all.
That's where he's at.
It's exactly right. Good game coach.
I just feel like he's the next coach at, I don't know, like NC State or something.
I think that'd be a perfect fit.
My guess. Virginia Tech. I don't know. Take your pick.
But he's going to get in his Twitter. He's doing it. He did it just this week.
He did it yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say, he just did it in the last week.
Tennessee people yesterday.
He's going to get in his Twitter.
I think he's in Mississippi. We can do an in-studio interview this week. He said he was coming to the SIP for Christmas.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. Aren't we talking about Hugh Freeze?
Because you were worried about Mark Angelou in our thread. You were concerned about his well-being.
He seemed a little rattled this today. I'm just people helping people. Yeah, Duke is not hiring Hugh Freeze.
No, bad fit.
Virginia not hiring Hugh Freeze.
Terrible fit.
That's not the answer.
That's the thing. I don't know how many fits there are.
Well, look, he has the gene. He'll take any Power 5 job he can get. He could make $3 million a year at Liberty for the next 25 years.
I know. And there he can recruit with the repentant.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And he's going to, I know it's a weekly Freeze Talk. It's our podcast. Like what we want.
Look at you getting testy.
I'm fine. I'm good. I mean, He could average 9 wins a year at Liberty for the next 2 decades. Because, frankly, he's going to be a better coach than everybody else.
Of course. Of course.
It's at least something I would consider. Now, he's not going to because I don't.
Is the Willis kid still their quarterback next year?
I don't know. But who?
My point is, they're scary next year if that kid's back at quarterback.
We'll see him in person.
Yeah.
Got it that week. Jeez. I'm already like.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm planning like several live shows.
Are you?
Yes, sir.
You're locked in that week.
Yeah.
Our weekly lineup: Hugh Freeze on Monday, Ross Bjork on Tuesday. We're gonna run through the game.
It's almost like you're reading my mind.
Hey, Ross, I know we hadn't talked in 9 months, but hey, pod interview Wednesday, just apropos of nothing.
I think we'd hear a click, like an old school click.
What are you doing, Ross? Let's hang out. I'm getting more phone calls during the show.
Will says I'm bashing. I'm not bashing him at all.
No, he's a hell of a coach.
I'm not bashing him at all. He's a good coach. He's a really good coach.
I think it's fascinating on the take a job where you're taking tons of stress on personally versus staying somewhere where they will make you governor of Lynchburg. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You're just that dude for...
And it's ego, and I don't mean that as an insult because
all coaches have
that's
it.
exactly what I was going to say. All great coaches have ego. They're not natural settlers. That's not who they are.
Mm-hmm. You get the opportunity, you take the opportunity.
It's why when people go, Lane Kiffin going to be at Ole Miss for 10 years? I'm like, no.
Lee knows he has an open invitation to the podcast.
Yeah. He knows really well.
He will not take it, but he knows he has it. I'm going to be fascinated by that week next week. Look, Matt Ball trying to keep Bruce Pearl compliant is still one of my favorite things in college sports. It's my absolute favorite, top 5 favorite things in college sports.
Could very easily be one of the reasons that Auburn didn't go very far down that road at all.
Forgot that, yeah.
Might have just said, hey, what do you know? And he's like, we can't.
Yeah.
I doubt if Matt Ball had a say, but
he at least gets a phone call.
I would think.
Oh, Barney Farrar is the hero in this for all these people.
Yeah, I just don't think people understand what Barney did.
Sacrificed himself.
He literally fell on the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Gave up his career because he thought it was the right thing to do, and he wanted to protect the kids. And it was the code.
Coding kids, Barney, to his credit or his demise or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want to think of it.
He is that dude.
Yep.
He was never going to rat people out. It's not who he is.
Nope.
I'm glad he found something in the state to keep his pension going.
Sure.
One of the few positives from that whole deal is he was able to hang on, find some other things inside the system to finish out his pension.
A great guy.
Seriously, yeah.
Legitimately
a good dude.
I could write a really nice book about
Barney and
about my relationship with Barney Farrar and how it changed over the years. I genuinely really care about the guy. He's a genuinely good person.
I completely understand how he was able to recruit as well as he does in Mississippi. His personality, his demeanor.
Sure.
The realness to it where it's not this car salesman kind of thing coming in.
It's the crazy part of the whole story that if you were to ever really write the story about the rise and fall of Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss, so much of it is about this moment in time when Wesley McGriff left for the Saints,
mm-hmm.
and here you have this opening that solves Hugh's problem, it solves the league's problem, it shuts up all the bitching.
Just put him on staff.
And he didn't take it. And he didn't not take it so that he could hire a superstar in the coaching business. He didn't take it so that he could hire the guy that Kane just hired as his defensive coordinator.
Who did he hire? I don't know.
The Hawaiian guy.
Corey Batoon.
Corey Batoon. Thank you. Yeah. Nothing against Corey Batoon, who I'm sure is a really good coach. But Corey Batoon.
Kane hired Corey?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Corey didn't have some monumental impact on the program from a recruiting standpoint, from an on-the-field standpoint at all.
No.
He bypassed the opportunity to make it all go away and really to give a middle finger to everybody.
Hugh could have done two things during the. We're going to stop. I promise. Could have done two things. Put Barney on the field when it was right there in front of his face on a platter, and don't call Lindsey Miller a wife beater publicly. Those two things solve 9 out of 10 issues that are going on with the program. The one that wouldn't have fixed was defensive recruiting. Everything else gets tidied up with those two things. Put Barney on the field, say nice things about Lindsey Miller.
Or say nothing about Lindsey Miller.
Yeah. That's it.
That morning, instead of putting out a press release,
that day,
go sit down with some people and go, hey, look, let's work this out.
We were on the phone, and I just kind of looked at it 2 or 3 times, and I was like, hold on. That's an official statement? That's what he wants that publicized. Like,
we were on our way back from the beach, and I read it and went, well, that's that. Yeah. I mean, there are not many things that a man can get accused of
that's one
that he can't recover from.
Yeah.
You accused of beating your wife? Pretty rough.
All bets are off at that point. So,
especially if you didn't do it.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Lindsey Miller. Wow. I'll give this beat credit, man. It hadn't slowed down much.
It slowed down from that.
It slowed down from that. That was wild. We'll have picks up on Thursday. They're brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. Through the month of October, mention Rebel Grove at checkout. And listen, through the month of October, it's December. I just had a Will Ferrell moment in Anchorman where you just read what's in front of you.
Whatever it says.
Yeah. Read it. You can go to deadsoxy.com. Those guys will be dropping off the podcast here in a couple of days. Want to tell you how much we appreciate them over the years. Their product is fantastic. So if you want to take advantage of that promo, you better hop on it here in the next 24, 48 hours or something. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in multiple states, too. It's founded in 1997 in Madison, Mississippi. Pinnacle Trust treats investing like a commodity. Decisions made using objective information and research, not emotions. Regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you and listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive plan that's built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. A lot of people think this whole pandemic's going to be over late spring, basically, with some residual masking and all that stuff, but basically over. And if that's the case, and I hope it is, this summer will be a great time to go on a vacation. If you didn't get to go on one in 2020, you can blow it out in 2021, and now's the time. Check out hotel rates and stuff online, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's great deals to be had in the travel business. All you got to do is get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you options. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
A couple different things we'll talk about. One, I kind of relayed some of what's actually going on with the baseball schedule, which is nobody knows yet for the spring, because like Neal said, we don't know what the situation is. And the SEC, to their credit in football, to their credit in baseball, to what they do, they wait as long as humanly possible to not make stupid decisions too early. And that is kind of what's going on in baseball at this time. Paul Maneri said on ESPN Radio Baton Rouge yesterday that the most likely scenario for the spring is 10 SEC weekends comprised of 4 games per weekend.
Makes sense.
A single game on Friday, a doubleheader that would be 7 innings each on Saturday, and then a 9-inning game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They would then get to spread 16 non-conference games over the first 4 weeks because there would be no midweek games once league play began. So you would have 4 weeks to get in 16 games, however you got it in.
Gotcha.
And then you would be able to not play midweek games once the season got going. I was told by a couple different people in the last 24 hours that is a little premature. They're going to have a kind of a vote on it January 7th to make a final decision, the coaches, ADs, whoever it is on that call. But that is one of the stronger options, even though it is not the only one that's on the table. The ACC is the only main league to go ahead and give their schedule out right now. They're going to play 50 games total with 36 conference games. So they'll do 12 weekends of 3 and then find other games however they find them. Well, the SEC criticism to what they're doing is if you're trying to play as many games as possible, schedule as many games as possible. When you start with a lower number of total games, you're just going to fall even farther below. So the SEC wants to schedule 56 baseball games.
No, they probably won't get to 56.
Sure, that's fine. A lot of the argument right now, and frankly, it's like football, competitiveness. You've got coaches that do whatever. I mean, I have not talked to Mike. I've put in a thing to get a hold of him. I'll talk to him the next day or two. But I was told by another coach in the league that basically on the conference call, Mike basically was like, guys, just shut up. Like, we're trying to get to 56 games. You're going to be flexible. Deal with it. And that's kind of what he told the rest of his brethren inside the league. So
why not just everybody play each other 3 times? That'd be 39 games.
Because they want non-cons. Because it allows for separation on RPI.
Gotcha. No, I meant in addition, instead of
40, do that. It's fine. In their heads, it's keep everything as close to it is now as possible, which means taking last season's schedule and replaying it, if you will. But no, I think that's something on the table. I know the ACC looked at that. I know the Big 12 has looked at that because the Big 12, now they have fewer teams, obviously, so this is easier to do. They are going to play everyone in the conference and then still try to fill out their 56 games in non-con play, which might be what they do anyway because there's such a small number. They have nine teams.
Yeah.
So that's still only 24 league games, so you easily play everybody and then move on. If they do this schedule, Ole Miss would not play Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee. They would play everybody else as of now. The problem they've got and what they're trying to figure out is testing. So, and I know this is every league, this is every school, this is what gets the blood pressure up for every coach and everybody that's out there. There's talk right now of potentially wanting them to test on Wednesday to get the test back on Thursday for travel, which makes sense. But then here's the rub. They want them to test on Saturday. Here are your issues, multiple issues. The player ends up testing positive on Saturday. He finds out on Sunday morning. Well, then he's out for the Sunday game. You're contact traced all weekend on buses or planes or hotel rooms. Do every Sunday game just get canceled if somebody tests positive on Saturday?
Well, and then
if it's a road game, how are they getting home? Because you have a positive player that then you're not putting back. You literally would be finding an ops person to rent a car and drive that player or fly that player somehow back home away from the team at that point. So this Saturday testing is what has really got people.
And then the ops person would have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks.
Well, you would hope an ops person has had it. You would find a positive case to chaperone your player who just tested positive back home. And then what if it's a false positive? There's a lot of stuff here. But
have you asked how they're going to do dugouts?
No, I have not. I don't know.
Because there's a contact tracing problem. People sit in dugouts next to somebody for.
Even if it's open air? I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, within 6 feet. 15 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe rotate every 12 minutes.
I mean, but
you only get a half inning.
There's still a lot of sitting.
I don't know. But I know testing protocols are one of the main problems right now, is figuring out what that looks like, how to do it, and how to do it without it just getting dumb, frankly. So, I don't know. As of now, Ole Miss's opener, I know a lot of people have been happy about it, excited about it. It's still scheduled. I have no freaking clue. I think because it's in Texas, it has a fairly high chance of happening.
They're supposed to open in Arlington?
Yeah, it's supposed to open in Arlington. Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Mississippi State each playing a game against Texas, TCU, and Texas Tech. So
big
kind of an SEC Big 12 challenge thing.
That big shindig in Ruston still on?
As far as I know, it's still on. I think everything's still there. One of the problems Ole Miss has, and I don't even know the teams, is I think a couple of their non-conference weekends are against bye games that those teams are probably not even going to play baseball this spring. So they may have to find ways to get around that, find other people to play. I know the Sun Belt has told the SEC, whatever you guys do, we'll do too, because their point is if the SEC played conference only by some chance, they would need to play conference only because they don't have any midweek opponents. But if the SEC will play midweek games, that gives them midweek games, so then they would just mirror whatever the SEC does.
I see.
Yeah, so that's what Conference USA, what Sun Belt is doing. I have no idea what Conference USA is doing.
So I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it because fans want to know.
Sure.
Fans say, why not play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Which means you have to travel
You got to leave on Wednesday.
And it means that they're constantly on the road.
Yes. Because you'd be getting back Sunday night, turning around. You got to have an off day. It doesn't work. Now, some games will get moved to Thursday because you've got TV. But on those instances, it will become Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right. The doubleheader would be Friday.
Yeah. Or you would just do since it's 7 innings, you could even do it on getaway day. Like you would a normal a normal rain out kind of situation. And look, not every team is getting 40 SEC games in. You get in how many you get in.
No, of course not.
What it is. If you get 36, great. If you get 33, great. If you get 40, awesome. As of now, all the metrics are staying the same for the NCAA tournament. I just play the games for now, but I'm just telling you because I'll get asked that. They are not currently changing any stipulations except for they're putting no minimum requirement on games played to make the tournament.
This would absolutely be the year to do the postseason setup the way I've long advocated.
A bunch of 2 out of 3 series?
Yes.
Add an extra weekend and do 2 out of 3 series.
Why would you put 4 teams in
instead of 2?
Instead of 2, and now you get a problem and you got to contact trace.
Under Neal's setup, which I like, there would be an extra week of postseason, and the 4 seed would play the 1 seed in a 2 out of 3 series. The 2 seed would play the 3 seed in each regional, and then they would move on to another series to get out of the regional, and then have the super regional 2 out of 3.
This would be the year to do it because this is the year to not have a conference tournament.
Yeah. Same problems as basketball. Fewer teams you can get in one place, but
now,
better.
The one thing I'll say is by late May, this might be immaterial.
Yeah. Which is why the SEC is going, hey, why are y'all making decisions? Because the Big Ten is they're jumping all over themselves to announce a conference-only season, and it's like, why? What
would you like the answer?
Well, you've seen this before, haven't you? But I heard that frustration from an SEC baseball coach yesterday. It was going, I don't know what they're doing, but they just are trying as hard as possible to be the first ones to announce a conference.
You've watched Lane Kiffin this year over the course of these. He's about ready to pop with his answer.
Yeah.
If you make it look like you're doing something, then people will think you are doing something, and that makes you more virtuous than those who are not looking like they're trying to do something.
Yes.
No one's actually doing anything.
Mm-hmm. So I think you'll have a conference schedule announced by January 10th, 11th, somewhere in there is my guess. It feels like that's the most likely outcome is the 40 games over 10 weeks. However, there is some opposition to that inside the conference. So if you told me
competition,
a lot of competition.
This is the part, and frankly,
and look, to Mike's credit, because it'd be better for him to play everybody. He doesn't play Missouri, Kentucky, and freaking Tennessee.
Right.
He's not going in and bitching and going, hey, we got to play Vanderbilt and Florida. No, I want to play them too. He's going, no, just play the game. I'm done. Whatever. I'm playing the game.
No, look, I know the reason that Mike's that way is because Mike's pragmatic.
Yes.
I get it. Mike's down to earth. Some people would say, yeah, but he's not getting fired. Fair enough. And he's got a really good team. I get it. And
no, look, his roster is very set up.
The baseball coach that's on the fence is going, hey, somebody call Will Muschamp and Gus Malzahn and tell them about these seasons not mattering.
Well, and they're the ones that go, hey, no, I need non-con games because I don't need to go to my people at the end of the year and go, God, look at you. You went 17-23 in the league. And I'm going, well, hell, I played 40 games against league teams. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because if Mike, they play 40 league games, Ole Miss is going to go 23-17 or something, and they're going to be a national seed. I mean, that's how that's going to work.
Avery brings up a good point in the thread. Hasn't almost the entire baseball team had it?
A lot have.
I mean, the number on that of the 40 or so people inside the program is more than 25.
A couple very critical ones haven't, but yes.
But still, the number inside that
is very high. Yes.
Yeah, I mean
Mike made a joke about it. He goes, frankly, we've pretty much gotten immunity.
This is the part that drives me crazy. You have people that have tested positive and quote recovered, end quote. These are young, healthy people. There just are so few examples of reinfections. Why can't we just? No one will talk about it. No one will talk about it because it makes you sound calloused.
Yeah. They will have to get retested in January, but the odds of them becoming repositives are not high. It brings false positives back into play on them.
Yes,
is the problem.
The chances of a reinfection, quite frankly, are infinitesimally low.
Yeah. But yes, in January it resets and they will have to get retested.
Oh, Rob says the Texas Bowl just got canceled.
Who's that?
Arkansas versus TCU.
Okay.
That's a fairly new development because Arkansas had just put out a thing, might have been a precursor. They'd put out a thing telling fans not to come to the send-off.
Arizona has now given themselves a postseason ban. Arizona basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and they have a good team.
8 games into the season.
I'm looking for. Yeah, there it is. Texas Bowl has been canceled due to COVID-19 issues at TCU. Bowl organizers were unable to find a replacement for TCU.
Yeah, picture here. Sad scene is 10 empty buses leave the football complex after the Texas Bowl cancellation in Fayetteville. So they had all the buses there and just sent them away.
Yeah, they were about to.
Yeah, look, this is going to be crossing fingers to get to bowl games.
Oh, sure.
I think Ole Miss and Indiana is in decent shape because Ole Miss doesn't appear to care how many players they have. They want to play the bowl game. And Indiana is as healthy as they've been after that 2-week shutdown. So it feels probably okay for the Outback Bowl.
Well, let's be real. Indiana wants to play the game.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin wants to play the game, so they'll play the game.
Right.
TCU has been
TCU was the culprit here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And TCU has been quite virtuous throughout the course of the season as it pertains to
them falling below whatever the number is.
Yeah, as it pertains to their approach to COVID and the way that approach is perceived regionally and nationally.
Oh, yeah. Seeing it here. Okay.
Do feel bad for them. Don't you feel bad for the kids on both teams? They gave up their Christmas.
Yeah.
To practice through.
And have it X'd on.
And then you're
today.
about to go play and they get that sucks. I get why kids are like, man, I'm done with this season. I completely get it.
That does really, really suck.
Yeah, you just gave up your Christmas for God's sake. And you've been tested and tested and tested, and then 2 days before the game it gets canceled? Yeah, come on. Like the Arkansas kids ought to get a check for that. No, I'm totally serious. Someone should write them a check. Here's a stipend for your trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% serious.
Yeah. Extra practices for 2 weeks for nothing, or a week and a half, whatever the number is.
Yeah, and you didn't get to go home for the holiday.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com if you're coming into town for New Year's Eve. A lot of local restaurants around town doing their normal menus. Some doing set menus, whichever you prefer. So take advantage of those options. You can see a full list of available restaurants and more at Visit
You
Oxford.
like the set menus, right? That's your
Oh, yeah,
jam.
absolutely. No.
Yeah.
I'd hate to actually order what I want. I would like for someone else to order what they think I want for the, and then charge me like price and a half for it too while we're at it. But hey, they're going to throw in the complimentary glass of champagne, so that makes everything fine. That really does help it out when you get the complimentary champagne.
Prosecco or champagne?
Probably Prosecco. That's a good point. I think LaMarca is probably the move there. I've had one preset, and now I don't mean like a chef tasting. I mean like a holiday preset menu. Those are not the same thing.
Right.
I've had one that I thought was very, very, very good, and that's it. And I've had a few. I had Sugar Bowl. The night before the Sugar Bowl, we did one at Pesh, and it was really, really good. but that's the only time I remember a set menu
Of course,
being.
you don't remember the food.
At the time, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Now, 5-6 hours later, I don't know. I could have had that crystal where the dude got teabagged that time.
I saw you the next day.
You barely did. I caught the very last bus to get to the stadium that night, like the media shuttle from.
You got there after me, and I'd gotten there, left.
You left your computer cord.
Had to go back to the hotel, and then got on another bus and got back, and still beat you there.
Yeah, like I got there, and Matt Sharp was taking photos for us that night, and he goes, "Hey, you want to go eat?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't even look at that pregame." Now, I was fine and starving when they had the meal back at the hotel after the game was over and everything. But yeah, no, it was.
That Sugar Bowl post-game meal is impressive.
It was really good. For the Sugar Bowl the week of, I know, guys, I know you don't care.
No one cares.
To not be anywhere close to as good of a week as like the Peach Bowl or the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
But then they had at least that there at the end.
I'll tell you, you've never covered it. The Fiesta Bowl, fantastic.
Really?
Oh, they take care of it.
I think overall the Cotton Bowl has done the best job of the ones I've been to.
It's number one.
Now, the Peach Bowl was very good, but I think the Cotton Bowl.
For me, it's Cotton, and then
Fiesta
Peach and Fiesta, it's a fist fight. The citrus was okay.
Okay. And then everything else.
Music City's non-existent.
Yeah,
You're just on your own.
Yeah.
Birmingham's bad.
Well, the Peach Bowl had prepared for tons of media. I mean, it's an access bowl, all this stuff, and then TCU didn't bring anybody. So it was basically just begging us to do all the events and drink their alcohol.
Please drink.
Yeah, it was one night where they brought out all these alcohol bottles and goes, guys, we have it. Just please do something with it. Like, take it with you. Just drink the alcohol.
Okay.
And it's like, sure.
Sure.
Well, I told you we'd gone to like dinner or something, come back, and it's like golden tea in there and some TVs and like the little hospitality area or whatever. And one of the people in our party, we'll keep names out of it, was fairly intoxicated but hungry at like 11:45 or midnight when we got back. And there was like the bartender, the attendant, and the person goes, "Hey, I'm starving." They go and find somewhere catering trays of food and bring them into the hospitality room at like 12:20, 12:30 in the morning. And it was like, I mean, I know they had chicken, make your jokes on Chick-fil-A, but I mean, it was like potatoes and greens and like vegetables and all sorts of stuff they had found somewhere in the hotel and brought into the room at like 12:20, 12:30 in the morning. I mean, whatever you ask, sure.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
They were great.
So, anyway. But you can take advantage of whatever New Year's Eve plans you have here locally. Again, if you're going to stay in a hotel, call the hotel directly. You will get some deals. You'll get better prices and more than you would with some of the services that calculate and put everything into one spot. So, take advantage of New Year's Eve in Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com for more.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. If you're already starting to think ahead to Valentine's Day, what would be a unique gift, get in touch with the people at Blue Delta Jeans and set up a private fitting, and you'll enjoy the product that you get from Blue Delta Jeans. It's absolutely fantastic. BlueDeltaJeans.com. You can also hop into their DMs at Blue Delta Jeans. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. What there is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. And with Kasasa, customers get 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and ATM fees refunded nationwide. OUB also offers online bill pay, mobile check deposit using the online app. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
It does seem like a bit of a Peeping Tom starter pack. The Sugar Bowl, they asked what the gifts was. I remember a backpack, a phone charger, and binoculars. I don't remember what else was involved with the Sugar Bowl. Because the Peach Bowl the year before gave the exact same backpack, just with a different logo on it, if I remember correctly. They were like OGO backpacks both years.
Seems like that's right.
Yeah. Well, I still use my Sugar Bowl backpack some. It has some things in it that I take depending on where. Because I kind of have I'm not OCD about much. It's one thing I'm kind of OCD about. I've got different backpacks set up with different like journalism, media stuff, depending on where I'm going and what I need. And that's at least I used to when we covered games more. It was a big thing for baseball because you get so many variances in press boxes on what they actually have available for you. So I had different things packed for wherever we were. Because you go some places where you go, hey, I got to bring my own power strip and my own whatever, or I have nothing, and you've got all that stuff kind of there. So anyway. I exchanged 5 questions with Paul Gable of the Hoosier.com, the Indiana rival site. Probably will publish that tomorrow, is my guess. We both did that. Some interesting stuff on both sides. Indiana's pretty healthy. Again, Jack Tuttle, the quarterback, not Michael Penix Jr. after the ACL tear. If Ole Miss wins this game, Neal, what does it look like? What does a game look like that Ole Miss wins?
Turnover battle. You slow them down enough to create some turn. They're not super explosive offensively. No. They make some mistakes. You make some stops. And some guys step up. I think there's some hope internally that Jerrion Ely might be able to play. Braylon Sanders will not play, by the way. Someone steps up, whether it's Mingo or Drummond or Dennis Jackson, or someone steps up and has a big game. And, Matt Corral's probably the best quarterback they've seen all year. Certainly the best arm they've seen all year. Mm-hmm. And, maybe.
I mean, it's him and Fields.
Yeah, well, I'd take Corral over Fields.
Yeah.
I would. I don't know. That's probably the way it looks.
The Indiana Rivals guy said that they have a really, really hard time with a quarterback that's mobile at all, that he gets loose and runs wild.
Kane's really good about running defenses that confuse. Matt's got to be sharp.
Yeah.
Matt's got to be sharp. But, yeah, mobile quarterbacks bother them. And Matt's pretty damn mobile. Run the football. Get a lead. Get them out of their game a little bit. It's probably something along those lines. I think it's got a chance to be a really good game. I think it's got a chance to get away.
If they just it's frustrating because of the game it could have been.
Sure.
That's the thing.
Sure.
I mean, it was set up to be a really cool Ole Miss offense versus Indiana defense day.
I would take Corral over Fields long term. I would.
It's like one of my questions that he gave me today was, well, but what's the impact without Elijah? And it's like, well, I mean, it changes everything. I mean, there's no.
I'm not a huge Justin Fields fan. I like him fine, but there's a lot of other quarterbacks that I like better.
ESPN ranked the 28 teams who have made the college football playoff over the last 7 years. They have last year's LSU team at number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Just looking through it right now.
Yeah, sure.
Talking. Clemson at 2, 4, and something. Alabama at 3, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sure.
Bunch of spots.
LSU last year was the best team college football seen in ages. It just was. It was remarkable. This peak, and then they fall off.
We play out all those hypotheticals all the time on Ole Miss's 2015 season, what they could have done or not done. Because of the way we think it would have gone had Ole Miss beaten Arkansas and found a way into that thing, they probably would have played Michigan State, who they have ranked as the dead last team to make a playoff as far as the ability of the team. They have 12-2, Michigan State number 28. Alabama beat them 38-0 in 2015. Because I believe we watched, or at least I think Jeffrey and I watched some of that game from someplace in New Orleans that night at the semifinals. It was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was the night before.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alabama there. Notre Dame trying to redeem themselves a little bit. They're at 27. They lost 30-3 to Clemson a couple years ago in the.
They did
the playoff. Yeah,
so. I think they got a chance to have a really rough night afternoon against Alabama. Yeah, I just think that could go south.
Since the last time we did it, Buffalo Bills jump up into the 2 spot in the AFC. All the way, the Steelers have fallen to 3 now. Both teams at 12-3.
Oh, the Bills win last night.
Yeah, 12-3 now on the season. Dawson dropped a touchdown. It was just in his hands last night.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah, he's had a hard time with catching the football. I mean, he's had a pretty good career so far, but he's had drops. It's really affected his ability to kind of move up the pecking order for tight ends or even kind of how the Bills have used him.
I got to get better about it. I'm having a hard time watching sports lately. I've got to get better about it. On the flip side, I binged Ted Lasso in a day and a half. I mean, it's
So that part of it, you're good. It's not a lack of TV or anything.
It's not a lack of attention span. It's I'm having a hard time watching sports, and I don't
have to
really
have
know what
some
that is.
Connection to it. I'm having a hard time just turning the random thing on.
Yeah,
I'm good if I care for any reason at all, but if I can't manipulate a care.
yeah. Like I turned Bears Jaguars on the other day, and I was gonna make myself watch a couple of series and flipped.
Did you?
I ended up on that ESPN 30 for 30 and was stuck.
So as of right now, the Chiefs the 1. Obviously, they have a 2-game lead. I mean, it's wrapped up. Chiefs are going to be the 1 seed. They will get the bye. The Buffalo Bills would host the Cleveland Browns as of today. The Pittsburgh Steelers would host the Baltimore Ravens, and then the Tennessee Titans would host the Miami Dolphins. Would be your AFC playoffs as of right now. The 7 seed is still not decided because you've got actually. Oh God, I didn't realize this. You have all at 10-5, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Colts.
Oh, wow.
With 1 week to go. So seeds 4 through 8 are all 10-5 at the moment. So one game could change things in a lot of different directions. Obviously, the Titans and the Colts are both in the same division, so one of those teams will be a division winner after Sunday. But, yeah, it's kind of nuts. So let's see.
Go about the NFC.
Yeah, pulling up now. Packers have, again, Seahawks, Packers, I don't know, whatever that sits like. They're both 12 and they're Packers 12-3. They have a 1-game lead over the Seahawks. The Saints, though, have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks. So Packers get the bye. Saints today would face the Chicago Bears in a 2-7 game. The Seattle Seahawks would host the LA Rams as of right now in a 3-6 game.
The Seahawks can still get the 1?
We think.
Okay.
I think the Seahawks can still get the 1 with a win and a Packers loss. They would set up a tiebreaker. And then Washington-Tampa Bay is pretty much locked in as the 4-5 game. There's some things that could happen, but probably not. It looks like Tampa Bay-Washington will be a first-round game. And that will be in Washington. So the Buccaneers lucking out a little bit there from the first wild card. Jared Goff had surgery. He is out on Sunday. I do not know his playoff availability, though. He has visited the same doctor that helped Drew Brees with his thumb injury. But as far as how long he's out or what's going on, I have no clue there. But as of now, the Rams 9-6 are sitting in the 6th spot. The Bears and the Cardinals are tied at 8-7 for that 7th spot, and the Cardinals play the Rams this week. The Bears play the Green Bay Packers. So that is your.
The Seahawks can get the number 1 seed and the first round bye if they beat the 49ers, Green Bay loses to the Bears, and New Orleans loses or ties against the Panthers. So it all has to go that way. This is from Seahawks.com, so I'm going to guess they know.
Okay. So they can, but.
So it really puts you in a weird spot. If you're Seattle, do you go for it, knowing that you're playing in a week, or do you scale it back and go, "Hey, we think we're good enough. Let's roll."
Play your game, don't you? I know it's unlikely you get it.
Play your game, but you got to have 2 things go your way,
not including you.
Not including you. You got to have Chicago beat Green Bay and You got to have Chicago and Carolina win for you. It's a lot of if. You got Russell Wilson, he gets hurt. I don't care what you are, you're done. Lose DK, you're in trouble.
And you're looking up in your division and go, God, Jared Goff just broke a thumb.
Right.
Stuff can happen.
Well, yeah.
Drew Brees broke 11 ribs.
I mean, it only takes one shot. I mean,
one drop back to heave it down the field at DK. And
Dak Prescott, people get hurt. It's a weird spot to be. And then if you're Green Bay, what do? Same boat. Your Aaron Rodgers window is closing on you.
You have to lock in the 1, though. That's a week off.
Oh, it is.
You got to play and lock in the 1. More than ever before, that 1 seed is critical. It's the difference in me thinking the Saints have a legitimate chance of making the Super Bowl and not. Because I don't think they do. Had they gotten the 1, I would have given them a much better chance.
Packers get the bye over the Saints, right?
That's correct. They beat the Saints.
That's right.
Yeah. We did not realize that really early in the season, but that was
Pete Carroll answers my question. He's the Seahawks going all out in Week 17.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Alabama, maybe we'll see if it has anything to do with the Heisman Trophy or not. As far as a precursor, the AP Player of the Year, Alabama goes 1-2 with Devontae Smith winning the award. Mac Jones.
I think it'll go just like that.
Devontae Smith 1, Mac Jones 2, Trevor Lawrence 3, Trask 4, Kyle Pitts 5. So that's your list.
Hard to argue with that.
Devontae Smith got 114 votes with 26 first-place votes. Mac Jones got 67 votes with 9 first-place votes. Trevor Lawrence got 9 first-place votes. Trask got 3 and 44 points. And then it fell way down from there, including 2 people who just gave, participation trophy first-place votes. Travis Etienne got 1, and Javonte Williams in North Carolina got 1. So that is your rundown there.
Looking at Bears playoff scenarios, do they have to win?
To get in?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they can't. I mean, if they lose and Arizona wins, then no, they would lose because they're tied for the 7th
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
record.
Yeah, the Bears control their own destiny. They can secure the 3rd wildcard spot by winning their final 2 games in Jacksonville and at home against the Packers, or splitting the final 2 games coupled with an Arizona loss to the Rams. So it's down to that.
But they get in if both teams lose?
I think they get in if both teams lose.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question.
Yep. In that scenario, the Bears, Cardinals, and Rams would all finish 9-7. The first tiebreaker would be implemented between the Rams and Cardinals because they're in the same division, and Arizona would win that based on the better division record. And the Bears have already clinched the tiebreaker over the Cardinals.
So the Rams fall out in that instance?
I guess so. No, the Rams would get in, and I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
Beats the hell out of me.
All right, sounds good. While you're looking up that, I'll tell you the podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. G&M right there on South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222. You can still get your immune support med packs. Pharmacists deliver combinations of vitamins and supplements designed to boost your immune system and lung health. 30-day supplies of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They also offer MedSync. Deliver prescriptions the same day each month to take care of you and get your medicine when you need it. One trip via carry-out or delivery there with G&M. Again, 662-236-2222.
With fall upon us and winter upon us, now's a great time to start preparing for the cold weather. No one wants to come home, find out that heating system isn't working. Our friends at Comer Heating and Air have you covered. It's the name you can trust, bringing more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Comer Heating and Air offering a special preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Give them a call, 662-801-1777 for all of your cooling and heating needs. That's Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777. And we are, sorry, I lost a spot here. We are also brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Condos, land, commercial, residential, family homes. She can take care of you. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm represents a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit judge. Their experience is unmatched, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with the commitment to personalized excellence. Call them at 601-368-2215. See if they might be a good fit for your financial goals. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. And Saturday, we'll have Scoreboard Business, 9:30 a.m. It's brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue, your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All of the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Duckhead, Halsey, True Grit, and more. It's all there at The Rogue, 601-362-6383 or therogue.com.
All right. Let's see. What do you have up? There's a G-Pits. There's SEC Football and Beyond. Is that
G-Pits, SEC Football and Beyond. That's all up. Mailbag's finished. It'll be up in the morning. I'm going to have a Matt Corral story up in just a little bit. We talked to him, but I didn't have enough time to turn it around. Ole Miss, Alabama basketball tonight. I'll have something from that. 10 observations and hopefully the Zoom call. I don't know. We'll see how that works. And yeah, lots of content.
Lakia Henry says he'll come back for 2021.
Yep.
Said that today. So.
He said that today, and who was it? It was the other. Oh, AJ Finley. I think it was AJ said that there were some guys that were still up in the air about whether they were going to play or not.
I do get Lane's frustration on Tuesday of game week. At some point, you are or you're not.
I would think the fact that those guys practiced today tells you that they are at the least leaning towards playing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's kind of a weird deal, but whatever. Somebody asked about the Cubs. Thoughts on the Darvish trade?
The who?
Is that where we're at now?
Look, it was a money dump.
They're building for the future.
It's a money dump because if you were building for the future, you would eat part of the contract and demand a higher prospect haul. They unloaded every dime of the contract and took a bunch of dudes. They got back one pitcher, Zach Davies, who's fine. The Cubs' problem is they already have two Zach Davies on their team. Kyle Hendricks, who's the good Zach Davies.
Yeah.
Alec Mills, who's the erratic Zach Davies. And now you have Zach Davies. So you have three dudes who are throwing the 80s pinpoint control kind of guys. So it makes no sense competitively because they're not trying to compete. And when you dump the money, it says this is a move that was made for ownership.
Padres going completely all in. They've picked up Clevenger, Snell, and Darvish, and they had 6 players in the top 100 prospects for Major League Baseball. They got those 3 dudes and still have 4 of those 6 prospects.
I know.
They've done a really nice job.
Yeah, I mean Clevenger can't pitch next year because
of
of Tommy John, but they're a real threat to the Dodgers now. Now listen, some of the Cub fans are being hyperbolic and they're screaming and yelling. I have no problem with the Cubs selling high on Yu Darvish. He's going to be 35. I get it.
He had a renaissance year, but
in a short season, and he was terrific. I mean, he was great.
Whip under 1, finished second in the Cy Young race behind Bauer.
Yeah, behind the best pitcher in the game. But you could have eaten a third of the contract and insisted on one of those prospects. Because I think San Diego still would have done it. Instead, you took 4 lottery tickets, basically, and unloaded the money. And they gave up Victor Caratini in the deal, who's a very good player. I mean, Victor Caratini's played a lot of baseball for the Cubs the last few years.
How many prospects they get total?
4. Someone says Sam Williams is also returning per his Twitter. Yeah, I would think Sam was going to return anyway. I mean, his draft stock took a hit. He's got to recuperate from a stock standpoint. He had the offseason thing, and I know he was cleared of it, but that's a red flag for NFL. And then he didn't have a great year. He was ineffective against LSU the other day.
Sure. Yeah. So, anyway, so don't forget, birthday shout out to Hunter Kirk in Dallas. Appreciate all the listening, being a supporter of us over the time, turning 26 today. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You. And Yeah, again, basketball tonight. We got the bowl game at 11:30 on Saturday, so we'll go live 9:30 for that one. I have no idea what else Neal might throw in the queue prior to that, but
I don't think anything really. I don't think anything because we'll do the butcher versus the spin instructor, but so much of that'll be dated by then.
Oh yeah, because it
and
stays
then
up.
Chris and I aren't doing a show on Friday, so it'll just be you and me.
9:30 breakfast with the bowl game. It'll be what it'll be. I have no idea what to expect on Saturday, but nonetheless, Ole Miss in its first bowl game since that New Year's Day night against Oklahoma State in the 2000, I guess technically 16 Sugar Bowl. So yeah, fun time and all that good stuff. Ole Miss's first Florida bowl game since the 1991 Gator Bowl.
Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Michigan 35, Ole Miss 3 in the 1991 Gator Bowl.
So it's 5 years and a day since Ole Miss played in a bowl when they play.
That is correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I told you that morning this team doesn't play in a bowl game for 5 years.
Well, you thought the NCAA wrecked them. That's what you would have said.
Yeah.
Because we knew enough to know, hey, there's a problem here at that point.
We could have mimosas at 9:30.
We had them in the opener at 9:30.
Oh, we did.
What's the difference? You might as well close it out the way you started. I mean, yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's a doable thing.
Well, I just got talked into it.
That took a lot.
Well, you guys are really persuasive. I like mimosas, man. People make Jay makes fun of me about
mimosa over Bloody Mary all day for me.
Oh yeah, I don't like Bloody Marys. Too thick.
Too thick.
Too thick.
Do you like them hot if you want them? Like a lot of Worcestershire?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. I don't like if you use the Clamato juice. I'm okay with them. It's not my favorite thing, but I'm fine with them. But that thick, like Mr. T's,
just the mixed stuff.
That's disgusting.
Not a thing.
I just don't like it. I think it's
kind of like having a daiquiri out of the bag.
Well, it's yeah. It's like it's it's so thick that you could turn it just doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Are you? Is that your favorite thing or something?
Well, no, I hate Bloody Marys. I mean, you know my tomato issue.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm good. No thanks. And I don't want you to doctor up my mimosa either. Like I don't need the pineapple mimosa.
Oh no.
Just standard classic.
Yeah. Champagne, orange juice, little Grand Marnier on the top. That's it.
The Grand Marnier is a game changer. Change things a little bit.
And I'm not complaining about it. Or you can use Cointreau.
Okay.
That's good too.
That's fine. All right. So we'll do whatever we'll do on Saturday. We'll be here with you for school board business, the watch party. We'll talk to Pete DeWeese one final time on the 2020 season and celebrate the turn to 2021 as it will be January 2nd at that point. So podcast tomorrow. We will, I think, probably talk to Paul Gable of the Hoosier tomorrow. I thought we might give him a shout around 1:30. So we'll talk some more Ole Miss and Indiana. And we will be with you again then.
So Avery brings up a good point. I know this is bitters for mimosas. That is a difference maker.
What, like normal Angostura or something?
Yeah. Okay. There's all sorts of different varieties that you can pop in that.
Okay. I got some chocolate bitters the other day. I haven't tried
even a little Peychaud bitters.
Oh, really?
Not bad.
I hadn't thought about that one. And I have those always around because of the Sazeracs.
Good.
Ironically, the only one I wouldn't really want is orange because it's so kind of medicinal on top of the orange juice and anything. I think that would be a little bit of a turnoff.
Yeah, wouldn't really add anything to it.
No. So, anyway. Okay, thanks for that tip. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Again, Ole Miss, Alabama tonight at 8 o'clock. So we'll have reaction, I guess, of that. Talk to you soon.